Hello? So there wasn't any parking outside. I don't know if there's some valet situation happening.
You shall receive your validation after the interview has concluded.
Oh, but the sign outside mentions my car might get towed if I don't find parking soon. Are you sure that I can just leave it out there?
Alright, that's it! Now you'll just have to be content being interviewed in the video dimensione.
What? Who? Why do I feel so transparent?
Welcome to Geeks and Gabbers.
So how long are you gonna keep me here?
Danger, Dagneo. So tell me, who are you? Where are you from? How many body pillows do you own? And don't you lie to our lovely listeners.
You can sense dishonesty.
That was good.
That's your crew. And silence fills the room as we wait for Dagneo's answer. They're like, oh god, what
Hello,
questions
Hello, everybody. I am Dagneo. I am an internet artist. I usually just sit in my own corner playing video games, drawing my animus and mangoes. But here I am. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to have you on the show, or at least my assistant's happy to have you here. All right, so like, what as I was saying before, where you from, what'd you do, and how many body pillows do you own? Like, you gotta keep us with the deets. We can't just have you laying in the corner like Protag-Kun doing nothing. He just sitting there. Look at him, so sad.
Okay, so I am from the West Coast. I think that's
West Coast, best coast.
West Coast. Yeah, West Coast, best coast. No, I actually was originally from like the Midwest, but I came here like maybe 3 years ago. Never looked back. I mean, it's only been like 3 years, but you know.
I mean, 1 year is a long time, even for a primordial being as myself.
Oh. It's true. Although, I don't know, can you believe it's almost 2023?
We don't speak of those times.
It's been like 2 years since we all started staying home.
And eating spaghetti and nothing else. We all got good at our pasta and bread making.
Yeah, just pasta every day, all day, every day.
All day, every day. Just heating up in the pan, just wondering when this needless life would end. But we never know because our creative will keep us going and going.
In terms of my body pillow situation, I actually don't have any body pillows.
You call yourself an anime manga.
I know, I'm a failure. I'm a fake anime fan.
What would the other farmers say once they're getting the animangos from their trees? Just be like, oh, that Dagneo, nothing. Don't have no pillow to keep them company after a long day of drawing them animus.
It's okay. I have stuffed animals and cats instead. So.
So we a little bit better. We got the stuffed crust versions.
Yeah. And then the cats are they're like living space heaters. So.
Wait, I didn't have enough time to buy a space heater, so I just bought a livable one. It
yeah,
annoys
exactly.
me, picks up my furniture, and just moves on with its day.
And they as an extra bonus, they catch all the spiders in your house.
Hopefully, no too many spiders. How many spiders are in your house?
I try not to look at them when I see them.
You're just like, get it.
Yeah, I just that's a cue. Go get them, kitties.
And they're just like playing with their cat toy, and you're just like, why do I even have you?
No.
And then
I gotta do everything around here myself.
It's like, oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh,
No.
that's the sound of an excellent RPG series being cancelled and delegated to cult status due to greedy executives not making enough sinful level of profits. Or maybe they just hate their steady, dedicated customer base. Who knows?
Now, for an ad. You'll be right back. Geeks and Gabbers? You really came back? You had an out. ¿Por qué no tienes cerebros, imbécil?
So, what does Dagneo May Cry want to talk about today?
Thanks for asking. So today,
Segue.
so today, the topic that I have brought is a series. It's a manga series, but it has one season of anime. It's called Land of the Lustrous.
They come down in an attempt to harvest us as jewelry. While their hunters come down in countless numbers from the moon, there are but 28 of us. It would seem that at last I have a job for you. You should compile our encyclopedia.
Rigorous, meaningful work is the best medicine against questioning one's place in the world.
We are far too complex to be satisfied with just simply living.
At least, on the moon, they would make use of me.
If you truly wish to be of use to Cinnabar when the time comes, then I ask that you focus on completing what you have been tasked.
I'm going to find you something better than a night watch. So just don't go and give up on me.
I want to be free of the night.
Cinnabar!
Ooh, alliteration.
Yeah. It is, I think in terms of the manga, it's currently on its 12th volume, so it's been around for a little bit. And I think the anime came out, I want to say it's been a couple years, but also, like, time isn't real anymore, so I don't know.
It could be 30.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's, I think in terms of a genre, it falls under action fantasy.
Mhm.
It is the story of far in the future after humanity has died, and the life forms on planet Earth have changed drastically.
Mhm.
And one of the life forms are these inclusions, sort of like I assume they're sort of like bacteria. Obviously, this is like all fantasy, so it's
Right.
it's not real.
What are you telling me? As an inclusion won't go after my leftover mango?
I don't know. Maybe your mango's just that good.
I mean, I grow them out back. They're all natural.
Yeah. So they have these inclusions that essentially live inside of crystal materials. And it makes them move and act much like the way you would think humans would act nowadays.
Right.
And it's the story about all of these essentially anthropomorphized jewels and crystal materials,
Mhm.
and how they fight off their enemies, known as the Lunarians, that come to hunt them for use as jewelry, right? Like as decorations and things like that.
So we have like rock people that are like, oh my god, how am I alive? The other side just like, I want some jewelry.
Exactly.
Decapitates a person's arm. Oh, look at this lovely bracelet.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the main setting. But I think the true genre, I say true genre because I
Oh,
think this is actually more
So this is an
it-
iceberg or a mountain, so you will, with the
Yeah.
gems of the true story.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's actually a psychological drama. It's technically not like shonen or shoujo. It falls under, I think, the josei or seinen categories, which are meant for a slightly older audience. Yeah.
So I know what. So to explain to those out there, what would you describe these seinen and shonens? Because most people don't even know what Pikachu is. So if you would like us to know about these different genres.
Yeah, of course. So, josei is it's a Japanese word for woman. And so it is a category that is generally geared towards either upper teens and like I guess just upper teens and above. It's usually mainly targeted towards like women in their 20s. So, you know, they're a little bit more mature, a little bit too jaded for the typical shoujo romance. So that's josei. Seinen is essentially the more mature version of a shonen. The main difference though is that seinens tend to be a little bit more risque, let's say.
Nope.
Than shonen.
Like how risque? Like, would I be able to show my elderly grandmother who's very frail and thinks hip hop is the devil's tango?
I would probably say not. It's definitely going to be like, oh, those people are very good friends, sort of. You know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I know like nowadays there is quite a bit of anime that is considered like pretty heavy on fan service. Like those would all fall under the seinen category.
That one has not been anime, been part of fan service. Well, I mean, just look at them curved racks. Smooth.
Oh my god. It's true. They're all just, you know, nice. I will say the artwork is really quite nice. So everyone's got them rock hips.
them rock, them jagged curves. Oh, don't even tell me about their acute angles. So,
yeah.
What you explained to me, it sounds like it's more of like a genre and more of like a demographic. But I've heard some people talk about like seinen shonen, side tangent, as more of a genre. Could you explain? Was that due to like the confusion from a language barrier, or more of like maybe the U.S. anime corporations not understanding how to like market these shows like before, like modernized like anime companies? Because now it's like everyone understands it. That have come.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. I think what it is that these, like the shonen, shoujo, that kind of a genre, quote unquote, I think it comes from the fact that back in the day, magazines with like monthly magazines of mangas, I mean nowadays, you still have them nowadays, but they would be geared towards a specific demographic. And it's just that the manga in those magazines all tended to follow sort of a similar genre. And I think that genre became kind of what it became called by the demographic that it was targeted towards. I think that's what happened.
So it became like synonymous, and therefore it kind of hard to push that brand away without like losing customer base.
Yes,
and, like,
exactly.
Restructuring and rebranding and all that excitable marketed jazz.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
But yeah, that might be another video. Might talk about that. Segue. So you talked about this show being a psychological concept horror, psychological show in a way.
Yeah.
Can you go further into that, or without going too much into spoilers, if you can? It's hard to distinguish.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'll try to be as spoiler free as I can. But I might just give away like the first episode or two.
Okay, so we'll put like a banner here. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you want to go further into it, we will put a time code here. Boom.
Oh, okay.
And then
Perfect.
you can move on. Like, I don't mind spoilers because I usually forget everything that someone has told me, though. Not to be like disrespectful or anything. Just how my brain works in the infinite cosmitude that it is. All right, please continue to change your tag.
Okay, thank you. So when you first out, the main character of the series is a crystal named phosphophylite. It's either phosphophylite or phosphophyllite. I don't know the exact. We all call her Phos.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah. And she is at the beginning of the story. She's the youngest out of all of the jewels. She's like the newest added to the family,
Mhm.
and she is very weak compared to a lot of the other jewels. That's actually a material property, and maybe I get to talk about that a little bit later. But when you start out, she is very innocent. She knows very little about the world, just like the reader or the viewer. You come into this world not knowing anything. And over time, there are a lot of experiences that she goes through.
Mhm.
And I think within this small number of volumes, so right now I think we're on volume 12.
Yeah.
She has the most character development or character change that I've seen in any other series.
Oh, so
Um,
they put a lot more time into her like journey as compared to other like shows or manga that you come
Right.
across.
It's yeah, so she's really, her experiences are kind of at the forefront of the series,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes through a lot of stuff, and how that affects her both physically and mentally is I think the most interesting aspect of the series. And
Mm-hmm.
the series, I think I've read somewhere that it was meant to be kind of a metaphorical I guess explanation of the author's own experience with religion.
Oh.
So the author went to Buddhist school in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like
and
full
so
temple, like just school or.
I'm not entirely sure because I didn't actually know a Buddhist school is a thing, but apparently, like, I assume it's like a Christian school that you would have here. You just have like, you know, where you would have Bible studies and things like that, except
Mhm.
she would have Buddhist studies, etc.
Mhm.
And it was about like a believer essentially clashing with their religious beliefs. And yeah, so there's a lot of changes that kind of happen, a lot of doubt, a lot of, you know, new knowledge that comes in, that kind of stuff, and I think that really pushes the story.
So do like the personal like conflict with both the character and the creator like intertwined with
Mhm.
like the whole series. You think it gives a more competitive edge to similar types of like psychological in-depth stories like this, or not the same story, but you know the same type of
Mhm.
emotional depth of content that
Yeah.
you're trying to write or read or draw, etc.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think it's just, it feels very human, which
Mhm.
is ironic because the characters are not human.
They're made of igneous rock.
Right, exactly.
Finally, sixth grade geometry is doing well. Or what? No, geology. There you go. Oh, speaking of segue, you also made another. Unless you want to continue speaking about the series, unless you want to go to our second subtopic.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, wait, it's reader's choice.
Oh, I guess. No, I think we can keep going.
All right, no worries. So, and how would this be more of a like protagonist versus world type of series where their belief, as you said, mentioned the creator's belief against like what's it called, established order or religion, as they mentioned, or is there more like a central antagonist that embodies those ideals of organized religions and you know hard doctrines,
Mhm.
etc.
Oh. No, it's really, I think actually one of the best things that this manga has done is that there's no true antagonist, I think. It's almost like everything is sort of a personal battle. It seems very, very simple in the beginning. You fight these Lunarians that come in from the sky that tries to kill all of your Jewel family. But as the story progresses, it becomes more clear that that is not all it is. And so it's the protagonist versus almost themselves, I think.
So it's more of like a self-discovery type of conflict.
Yeah, definitely.
And they just fight people who just want to wear them as jewelry, as in between their personal introspections. Those dang moon men are trying to wear us as necklaces. I'm assuming they're from the moon, considering their name.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is there another thing that's loony? Are they from the loony bin?
Oh no, they're just from the moon. They live on the moon.
So are they like another type of rock people? Because they're also like, the moon is basically just rocks, unless there's like some secret like race that we don't know. Like, I don't know, sci-fi and manga and anime, they have some crazy ass like origins, so you never know like what the antagonist or your protagonist will arrive from. Human imagination bewilders me sometimes.
No, it's true. I mean, I think for the Lunarians, I don't want to give out too much, so if people are gonna have to watch or read the series themselves.
This is the hard line that we're gonna. So, I think that's the sound of our planet letting out its last cry, but the unrelenting flow of human pollution and the unstoppable carbon footprint that we've left silencing our beautiful blue jewel forever.
Oh.
Meaning we're on to our next topic. So, how'd you find this story? Why is this insignificant thing important to you? And why do you think other people will find it important as well?
Yeah, so for me personally, I come from a science and engineering background. And and for me, I'm always intrigued by series that kind of incorporate that. Not just regular sci-fi, but in a more, I guess, thematic way. And the fact that this series had, moving crystal materials, I think that first drew me to the story. And the strength of each of the characters is determined by the material properties of that actual crystal.
So like the properties tie in with their character traits as well, and physical traits as well.
Yeah, some like the colors of their hair and stuff like that. So like Foss, who's the main character, I mentioned earlier that she was weak. In the author uses the Mohs hardness scale of materials to determine the strength of these characters. And so phosphophylite as a material is pretty low on the scale. It's from 1 to 10, and Phos lies at 3.5, which pretty low. Diamond would be at a 10. Like sapphire, ruby sits at I think around 8 or 9, usually 9, I think. And so I think these kind of this kind of incorporation of scientific facts into the story was really what caught me to begin with. And I think if that was it, then I don't think I would have actually liked the series quite as much. I think it was because after I started reading into it, the psychological transitions of the characters were so interesting to me, and it felt so realistic to me because there's no good or evil necessarily in this world.
More like differing perspectives and individual goals, and that makes him do potentially immoral or moral things. So it's a gray. It's a
right. Yeah, like everything is great, and I enjoy my beat 'em up shonens and like cute shoujo romance stories and stuff. But I think this story has a lot more depth than maybe a lot of the series that I think are considered mainstream. And I did also really, really like the unique aesthetic of the series. It is because it's based in like Buddhism. That's not something that I think a lot of series use as a theme. It has a very unique look to it that I thought was very interesting.
It's based on like a lot of their like important art and like sculptures. And also they also have that geological aspect as well, based on like crystals, and I guess like that combined reference is what drew you like visually and artistically, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Like I'm not Buddhist. I'm not.
All religions and thought processes are welcome here, even if your thought process is just freaking computer dial-up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so I'm not super, knowledgeable about Buddhism, but the detailing, the looks, the kind of clothes that they wear, that all has, I think, a look that is just very unique. I haven't really seen much like this elsewhere.
And I feel like I wouldn't be doing an interview just if I didn't mention if this compares to another geological type of show that like I knew you think that this topic was going to come back into it, considering they've been compared well enough. So how do you feel? I mean, do you want to mention it by name, or do you just want to
Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't mind.
I mean, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so so I've definitely, I remember when it first got its anime release, a lot of people were comparing it to Steven Universe. And I do have to be upfront, I've actually never watched Steven Universe. I've seen, little clippets here and there, and I've seen the characters, etc., but I've never actually watched it. So, unfortunately, I can't say too much about what Steven Universe is like, but I think even right off the bat, aesthetically, it's extremely different. The overall tone, I think, of the series is quite different. I think Steven Universe, like, just based on what I've seen, is a kind of a positive show with sort of sometimes dark undertones, whereas Land of the Lustrous is dark up front with some slight moments of rest. I think is the way I would describe it. And so I think just the directions that they go is quite a bit different. So I think, even if you really enjoy Steven Universe, I think, this is quite a bit different. I think it's worth giving a shot.
It's the Zootopia versus Beastars comparison, where they're both equally good in their own right, but just different in their subject matter and style, and so.
Yes, definitely. That's a good example.
I just came up to my head, to be honest. I think because I was watching some Team 4-Star videos, and they have an excellent analysis video on Beastars.
Oh.
And so that got me into reading the series, which is and the manga first, and then I watched the show. And then I was like, I gotta be frank, well, it's much of a cold take, but the manga's better. It's more cartoony, and like, it's visceral when it gets violent, and like, not to say like I love violence, but like the way they detail it, and like the suspense, like the way they frame certain like scenes, and like that 2-page spread, it's good.
Yeah, I get that, because I think, if I'm completely honest, most of the time I think manga is better.
We have a manga PhD, folks. Just out her on Twitter.
I will say though, for Land of the Lustrous, I think both the manga and the anime are very good. They are. I think it's a very good example of an anime that tries to stay true to the tone of the original manga without necessarily following it panel to panel. The vibes are a little bit different. They both have dark undertones, but the anime is very environmentally, it's very large. It definitely pushes for a sense of loneliness, which I think is very, very fitting for the series. But I think that kind of loneliness, it's a little bit harder to portray in like paper form. And I think they did that wonderfully in the anime.
So are you?
And it also
oh,
has a killer music. Sorry.
So those were your pros for the anime, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
those, and what would you believe the manga does a little better compared to its adaptation?
Oh, I think the manga just feels more raw for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's more, I guess, because you don't have to worry about moving something. In a manga, you just have your shot, you have your panel. And I think because of it, you can distort certain shots a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
make certain shots look more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's also in black and white and of course gray tones, etc. Because but it's monochrome.
Yeah.
It uses contrast very, very well, I think, the manga. And so it portrays very strong feelings through the strong contrast.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I think about it, it's very base by base, story by story, where like either lean towards manga or leans towards anime. And then there's also Full Metal Alchemist. Like, yes, like the artists, like, the authors, illustrations are beautiful and like they're great. But of course, the anime, it's like stylish, and like you see all the special effects and VFX and all the like hard work the animators did, and you're just like, it's so good. And then like the dubbing,
Yeah.
by far. It's sad to hear about the news, recently, but the anime is just substantial. You can't be mad at that. So I think for me, it's a case by case basis on how you feel the story fits better, either in book or in the drawn format. So it really is. It's really hard. Like I everyone has their opinion about it, and we're not gonna go into the sub or dubs or anything. It is again a case by case basis.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
And I think that's the sound of world leaders' cancellation, giving them cult leader status, and the closed-minded followers who don't want their fantasy politician pick to be the worst player in the political season. Which means we're on to our final question.
Hey, we'll be right back after a short break. Yo! You're watching Geeks and Gabbers.
Alright, so this is going to be a series of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to present you the question and the answers. So,
Oh, okay.
what's your ideal vacation? Would you prefer to go to Las Vegas to live it up? To slope to Colorado to shred them slopes? Michigan to camp and canoe? Or to Arizona for spa retreat?
Ooh, I would go to Colorado and shred some slopes.
I see the Gem fan Stan also loves the mountains, so let's go to Colorado.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, we have another realistic type of question. What's your favorite show? We have answers of 4 from The Office, Game of Thrones, The Great British Bake Off, and Downton Abbey.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I think it depends on my mood and what I want to see, because I think like as a like kind of a world building sense, I think Game of Thrones, it's a very interesting world with different power dynamics and things. So I think that's fun. But if I'm just sitting at home and I just want to relax, have something in the background while I draw, then I'd have to go with the Great British Bake Off. That one's just, it's so wholesome.
I just love when they present their souffles and then the judge just flips it over and be like, rubbish.
The souffles, not the souffles. Yeah.
Alright, so we're going with British bacon. Alright, next question. No, I don't know if you're a coffee fiend, so I don't know how this next question will feel you. So, where do you get your coffee fix? Starbucks?
Ooh.
Dunkin' Donuts? Krispy Kreme? Or do you go to the local joint?
Oh, if I'm actually out to get a good cup of coffee, I'd go for a local joint.
Supporting the local
Yeah, I mean,
artists.
I like my Starbucks. Get my Frappuccino. It's always got a room for people to sit down. It's got free Wi-Fi, So Starbucks is great, but if I'm really looking I want to get coffee for the sake of getting coffee, I would go to a local place. But I do think that's easier for me living in an area with a lot of coffee shops.
I mean, the West Coast definitely has their fill of coffee shops.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Throw a rock, you'll hit like 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know you have your favorite dream job now, but what would be your favorite dream job if you could pick a second one? So, there's a doctor, architect, actor, or fighter pilot.
Ooh. Oh man. Under the right circumstances, a fighter pilot.
Oh, we're going full Tom Cruise?
Like, I think. Well, okay. It's tough because I think fighter jets and things are so cool. It's just the fact that they're tools of war.
Parts of your mind just like filled with electricity and anticipation.
Yeah, it's just it just seems like it would be so interesting.
So if you had the means and the materials, would you like get a pilot's license and fly from place to place?
Oh man, I've actually thought about this.
I'm studying for the test right now.
I thought about like getting a license because I know if you it's not too difficult to get a license so that you can fly those the smaller like Cessnas planes and stuff. So I've definitely thought about it.
Well, wait, the thought out fighter pilot is definitely an answer I did not expect. You even know the mark of the plane.
No.
Alright, so I think second to last question. Which superlative do you wish described you? That's an interesting word. Super fit, wealthy, super smart, or universally liked?
Ooh, do I wish applied to me?
I think it's like which describes you best.
Oh, I guess as of right now, I'm not that wealthy.
What makes you
They
say
crossed that one off the list. I'm not super fit.
Never back down, never what? Yeah, I want it louder though. Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up. What were the other two? I'm sorry.
Super smart and universally liked. So everywhere you go, everyone knows your name.
Oh, that's not true. I guess out of those 4, super smart might have to be the only one that sort of semi-relates to me. Just because.
I mean, you just outschooled everyone listening right now.
To be fair though, it's not. I do think that it's not that I'm smart. It's that I just like this stuff,
You're very passionate. Just has
I just spend more time thinking about it.
It's like, not now. I have this new like hobby that I gotta find out about how to make pottery from scratch.
Exactly. Sometimes you just like things.
All right. And final question: what is your favorite season? Spring, give me all the green. Summer, more burning sun, please. Winter, find me by the fire. Or fall, changing leaves and football.
Ooh, let's see. I think fall.
Fall.
Yeah, because I think summer's a little too hot for me. And now that I'm an adult, I don't get summer break, so like
my summer break is looking out the window and seeing the sun, and then
I
going back to work.
So, but I think fall is it's like just getting cold, and so things start to get really cozy, and you are sort of looking forward to Halloween, you got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, but
Ooh.
it's not quite there yet. So it's got that sort of
Controversial.
anticipation in the air. I think I like that.
All right. I have a controversial extra question. What is your
Mhm.
favorite holiday?
Ooh. I think it might be cliche, but I think it's still Christmas.
Oh.
I'm not Christian, but I think Christmas is like Christmas and New Year's during that time. It's always time when people come home, visit family,
Mhm.
and there's just a lot of, I think, warmth and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, nowadays, especially with the pandemic, not a lot of people are traveling very far. Some people might not even get to go home and visit their families. But I think as a holiday, I think there's no other holiday that really pushes for that kind of, I guess, togetherness as Christmas.
And a major holiday, because there's so
Right,
many
right.
other like teachings and like religions and beliefs.
Oh,
and
yes,
et cetera,
of course.
Just gotta add that on
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just out of the all like major federal holidays, I guess.
All
in the
the ones I
United
can get a break and just collapse on the couch. All right, so we're doing pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, for sure.
And congratulations, your mineral is molybdenum.
Oh!
You're the ultimate team player. Similarly, molybdenum can be blended with other metals to make amazing combinations. Just a tiny amount of molybdenum and steel makes it far stronger, resistant to corrosion, making it essential to infrastructure and military hardware, renewable energy, and other advanced tech. You, like molybdenum, strengthen groups with you work.
That's actually very, very interesting because my research dissertation was on molybdenum sulfide and
it
molybdenum
came full
selenide.
circle.
It came full circle. Oh, that's funny.
You can just I can just imagine like that, like researching and then just like on the side is going like, we'll make airplane out of molybdenum and composite other minerals.
Heck yeah, make it extra strong, extra light.
Oh, yeah. Flexible yet durable. All right. And I think that's all the time I've allowed myself. So, thanks to everyone who joined us. We hope to see you next time on Geeks and Gabbers, and we'll see you all next time.
Yay. So, does that mean you can let me out now?
Okay. I'll get someone on that. So you just steer clear, and I'll go find someone to do that.
Okay. It's been a while. Hello? I have to stream later. I need a new agent.